Almost got that one. It's all right. We are live, pal.
Episode 002.
Here we go.
Yeah.
002. All right.
Yeah. So
I forgot what I was going to say.
It's been a week, buddy. It's been a week since we spoke last. Last time I came out to Fenwick at your beautiful studio there. This time we're here in
This time we're at Driven HQ.
Niagara on the lake. Yeah.
Pretty cool. Wine country.
Wine country. So
Really nice. Yeah, if anybody hasn't made it here, so you gotta come out here.
you gotta come check it out and get your car cleaned.
Yeah. You know what we need? We need somebody to come in, volunteer their time for cigars and beers, and do this scene switching thing. It's just driving at it. Anyways.
I agree with you. What do you got in your mouth tonight, buddy?
I've got it's called Mirador del Fuego. It's I got this at Cigar Experience here or in Niagara Falls. Yeah, it's pretty.
I really like that.
30 miles. I like it.
Yeah, I really like that one. He's the guy who runs that. The owner is awesome. Every time you go in there, you walk out with, like, I don't know about you, but every time I go in there, you walk out with like an arm full of free shit all the time. You know, like stupid little things like a lighter or a box of matches,
Which you always need.
lighter fluid. It's always, stuff you need. So big ups to Cigar Experience, although we pay an absorbent amount in taxes here. But you know what? It's the little things like that that go a long way. So
So I think they are definitely the better priced location than anywhere else that we've ordered. I think was Cigar Cheese, I think. Yeah, they get they do like theirs is online order, no tax. Nothing wrong with it. I haven't had a bad stick from them either. It's just I like to, like, if I'm feeling a stick, if I need some, I need to go out and grab some that day. I don't have to wait, 3-4 days to get them in.
of course, and you're a guy, so you wait till like the absolute last minute.
Yeah.
And you shoot to the store, you buy one, but yeah, you get what you pay for in that sense. So, I'm doing the Tobacco by Drew Estate. It's by far my favorite stick. If anybody out there,
Very sweet.
it is sweet. It's got the flavored cap on it, which is nice. So I'm sure the extreme cigar aficionado guys are probably going to have a few choice words to say to me, but that's fine. I will gladly take it because I enjoy the smoke and I have yet to have a bad one. So
You have yet to have.
take that.
Beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
How was your week?
It was interesting, to say the least. Things you're in that, it's like golf. Right now, we're just in that upwards kind of
You
backswing.
watch the Masters at all?
No, I did not. Why?
That's okay. I was just asking.
Who won?
I don't know. I didn't see the final today. I know McElroy was in the lead. I think Paul Vunder, but
I mean, a fellow Irishman. I hope he wins it, but I don't know. I know he wasn't talking to reporters. I read that, but when you play golf, you can really appreciate watching it. But to those who don't, they probably don't watch it as much.
it's like a different beast, right? Playing golf is like, I'm nowhere near as good as half the people out there, but
No, yeah,
it's just a great little getaway. Like, wife and I like to go out and just.
oh, you golf with the wife?
Well, we are not all the time. Like, I think the only time we generally go out is if there's like an event, like a charity, work our tournament.
Yep.
So yeah.
Well, that's when you work at a good place, is when they have golf tournaments.
Yeah.
For the record, we do not hold golf tournaments here at Driven Onwards, but
I've tried setting them up before, man. It's not an easy task. And golf courses, they put their members first, rightfully so. So if you ever try to set up like some type of like a golf outing with, like, say, even just you and your buddies, and you get 14 buddies or 12 buddies out, it's really hard because they will cater to their members first, which is great, but it wreaks havoc on trying to plan things because they only have certain tee times available, and it kind of messes up your timer.
yeah. Well, yeah, I guess you pay for the membership. You gotta, dealing.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't want them to put us first if I was a member.
Right.
So
Well, dealing with people, as you know, is like the worst thing you could possibly do. So dealing with angry golf people, Like, these are all retired people with literally nothing to do. Most of them are. I should actually have a client who golfs quite a bit. And he probably will listen to this podcast. So, you know who I'm talking about. And I love you. But yeah, he golfs quite a bit during the week and stuff. So, but yeah, man, it was like I was saying, we're in the backwards, the backswing of springtime, and we haven't quite hit orbit yet, but we're climbing. We're climbing like the Artemis 2, buddy. We're climbing.
Well, they're down now, but
They are down now, yes. But
as at the time of this episode, anyway.
yeah. So it yeah, it's been a week, man. It's been a week. You're trying to get team members in,
Yeah.
trying to get them all back in it and get the head in the game. So it's tough. What about you? How was your week?
Yeah, it was good. I did a couple of details and I think 2 coatings, and they were good. So a couple picked up this morning, early this morning, so I had to be kind of up with the birds. But you talk about getting like onboarding some staff and stuff like that. So I'll be next week. I'll be trying out somebody to see if they work out. But we'll see. We'll see what happens.
It's interesting. It's interesting that you're revisiting that.
Yeah, and I told myself and I told you, I said, I like doing the single thing now, and it's, I enjoyed just working on my own.
Yeah.
Everything goes through me. Nothing can get missed or whatnot. But when you get into the summertime or the spring and summertime, you get so inundated with work. And the last thing I hate telling people, oh, it'll be 2 weeks before I can get you in. It'll be 3 weeks before I can get you in. At least now it can be, 1-to-1. We can have 2 cars, 2 vehicles getting worked on at the same time. So I don't know of this individual's past experience. I know, like, he's a car guy, so he understands. What his level is, I'm not entirely sure. Truthfully, I hope it's kind of like what you said before. It's kind of a fresh slate. So if he has minimal to whatever, not, that's great because you train him the way that you want everything to be done, and you're generally going to expect that to be done. So, that's where I'm at, anyways.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough. We were there too. I think we brought our guy in last week. Actually, we had a day where we had, I think, 3 or 4 details in one day. So we had to bring in the help, and thankfully he's same guy from that we've had previously. So like we said in the first episode, he knows the standard and achieves it. And it's a breath of fresh air, mentally for yourself. It's so important because, you start to tell yourself, okay, I'm going to be okay because now you got, the extra reinforcements in. So, things are happening.
Yeah.
And for your mental, it's huge. So
Mhm.
yeah, it is nice to get going again. If the weather would just stay consistent, I mean, April.
It's supposed to warm up nicely this week, so our 20s, low 20,
Yeah.
sort of nice.
It
That's
is.
plus like a work with a shop door open kind of.
Yeah. It's just I think they're calling for rain. I know they're calling for rain here. Still people are kind of very 2D with that. They don't.
Yeah.
They think cleaning their car is like the whole. Oh, it's raining, I'm not going to clean it. They don't really kind of get all that salt off, get all that mud off, get all that. Even if it does rain, this is where you're gonna add fuel to that kindling now that was put on there throughout the wintertime.
Yeah.
And now with the rain and everything like that, you're gonna speed it up. So now's the time to get it done. But I can understand nobody wants to spend that kind of money and then have their car rained on the next day. So it's tough.
So, I guess we can act that or use that as a segue. So, springtime, everybody's getting their cars out. What should we be looking at, or what should these owners be looking at in terms of what's the first thing you should do? They take the car cover off, they blow it off, they dust it off, they power wash it, do whatever. What's kind of like that they have a coated car.
If they have a coated car,
Yeah.
well,
Which coated car, it's going to take, it's going to be like a 10-15 minute wash. Yeah.
If you got a summer car and You like working on the on the older the older stuff where it just sits all year long. You just drive it.
Well, I was gonna say to you, because having the coated car, you're already pretty much right there. You're just kind of dealing with dust and whatnot, depending on how you put it away. But yeah, the first thing I do is probably give it a quick rinse and kind of see where we're at. But I mean, a big question to you, the age old question: coated car, touchless car wash, or no touchless car wash? I think we may differ on this quite a bit. And I'll tell you why. I'm a proponent of touchless. I think it's still better than nothing. Um, Warranted the person doesn't want to do the coin wash thing and stand outside in the cold. But even on coated vehicles, now I always tell them just go with the basic package. You don't need
Exactly. Right.
all that fucking hot wax and that super speed shine wax and fuel economy saving wax. You don't need any of that. So I'm a big proponent of it. So even so, I mean, you get your car out, considering it's a new car. Like, I don't know. What's your thoughts? Touchless or no touchless? Coated car.
Coated car. I mean, ideally, touchless or not, or brushless or touchless, whatever. Anyways, hand wash is obviously the best way to go. The thing with when it comes to these car washes is, number one, the touchless ones. Okay, let's start with the brushed ones. We all know why there's an issue there, right? There's physically nylon or felt or whatever it is, brushes actually brushing up against the paint. Now, if you have a coated vehicle, there is going to be some resistance. Like, you're going to have a little bit more resistance against these kinds of light marring than if you didn't have a coated vehicle. And obviously it all depends on the type of coating and whatnot, but there's generally a little bit of resistance there. So are you going to have a completely scratched up car? Probably. I mean, the coatings generally don't protect against that kind of stuff. That's kind of why I would say, okay, obviously stay away from the brushed ones. Brushless, much better. It's only like if you're in a pinch, right? Like if you do it once a month through brushless or once every couple weeks, maybe even once a week, it's not that bad. The problem with it is the chemicals are so caustic in a brushless wash because there's no physical agitation of brushes against the paint. It's the chemicals themselves doing the work. So it's full of acid, full of, different types of products. And yes, the ceramic coating will protect against, it'll hold up to it. But if you do it enough, it's going to start to degrade the coating prematurely.
So where's the are you then saying the causticness of the cleaning of a brushless versus the causticness of brine, road salt, all that? Are you saying one is worse? Like, where's the line, Like, is it every 3 months you run it through a touchless, you're 50-50, you're tet-tet, or is it,
No,
what do you...
you could definitely go more than once every 3 months. I always tell people, I say, like, hand wash is the best way. If you're going to wash in your driveway, these guys that have the summer cruisers, they generally will not take it through a touchless. Okay, I'm talking about the guys who have their dailies, their pickup.
Yeah, I'm talking everyday Joe Blow. He's got a brand new $95,000 truck, got it coated. He drives it in the wintertime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so a touchless once a week, I say no more than once a week.
Yeah.
And your base package, like literally just a heavy, like a high pressure rinse.
Yeah.
Whatever they have that stripping agent, whatever it is. Now that's kind of where the acidic
Yeah.
chemicals are. Right?
Now, I know just based on mine, on my truck, obviously, it's coated with a product that I absolutely love. Love the team with it. And I think we should get into that tonight when we have our discussion. Is we should just talk about this industry as a whole. And let's talk about, coatings is always a hot topic. I don't think you get it so much with the film, but I do think you get it with
I think the
PPF.
film now is it's
It's getting there.
it's getting there's so many. Yeah, I mean we can obviously dive into it, but there's so many variations and brands, and a lot of them come from the same company. Maybe people don't know, like, they relabel it, they buy 100% label. So
Yeah, because if that was the case, there'd be like, 1,000 different PPF manufacturing facilities, and capitalism just doesn't work that way, right? But the company that I use on the truck, the coating or whatever. So I ran it through the touchless, probably once a week. I think if I averaged it out, it was once a week, whenever I could. it didn't kill me. You know, if it was a sunny day, I'd run it through. But if it was overly wet, you know, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Now, mind you, the important thing with that is obviously I own a detail shop, so I'm able to get the truck in here. This is just in passing. So I clean my truck once every week, sometimes once every 2 weeks. So every time I would hand wash it, I'm obviously putting a topper or even something, a detail back on top of it. So I'm rejuvenating that coating and keeping that coating effective. And this past weekend, you know, the sun was shining, everything like that. Very minimal wear and tear. Like I'm being honest with you, Tom. I was so surprised
Mm.
at how well it came out after that winter. And
Yeah.
here in Niagara, we had a hell of a winter, and it just popped right back to life. So, you know, it just goes to show the importance of that spring. If you do have your vehicle coated, it's important that you come back and you see who coded it and you get it, you know, brought back to life. It's
That's
so important.
that's another argument that I think a lot of detailers will have too. Or I shouldn't say maybe detailers, but people that get their cars coated, they don't think that there's any type of follow up required. It's you basically apply the coating and it's I'll see you never,
Yeah.
which is not the case because coatings they degrade. They're sacrificial layers. It's a sacrificial layer that is, yes, it's bonded to the clear coats, physically bonded. But the thing is that it wears away. It degrades whether you put it through your touchless car wash or anything does wear and tear throughout the year. Like you driving, picking up road grime, getting all that crap on the side of the, generally the coatings, they'll clog or fail, in the lower halves of the doors, for instance. Like you ever wash your car and it's been coated, you'll notice that maybe it's beating up nice on the top. This is, let's say, after a year or two, and then the lower half of the door, it's just sheets. It just, the end water doesn't move. It's like, oh, what the hell's going on? Well, most times it's just clogged. It needs a really good decontamination, which is another reason why you would go back to your detailer and an annual inspection, get a 6 month inspection, whatever it is, right? There's generally not that much.
Yeah.
Um, you know, coatings are expensive. They can be even more expensive than they actually are. But you got to look at what what the shop is offering with that specific package. Brands, it's not up to the consumer to understand brands.
I love that.
It's not up to no, because the reason being is
It's the greatest thing you've ever said. Honestly, like that made me so horny to hear that because you couldn't have said it any better. You really couldn't have.
it's our duty as detailers working on these people's 100, 200, whatever had that, cars, um, to know what's best for everybody. Now we're gonna have different opinions. I love one coating because it goes on well, it lasts. You love another coating because maybe it pops more, maybe it lasts longer, whatever it may be, or where you think it lasts longer. The thing is it's so subjective, and the other thing too is some of these coating companies, they are pumping marketing down everybody's throat, saying we're the best, we're the best, pink and black everywhere, and it's okay. And we were installers of that particular brand. It was an absolute pain to install most times, because it's very dependent on humidity and temperature and all that stuff. But and I don't know, the longevity wasn't there. And at the end of the day, we ended up moving because it just wasn't a good fit for us, for our clients. So
Well, how then? And this goes to the next. I mean, the biggest thing for I think a business owner and I think a client is to notice the difference between a marketing company and a chemical company, right? Two and two need to go hand in hand to a degree. But like you said earlier, you know, the people entrust us to do that due diligence. The brand of the coating does not need to do the heavy lifting. And I made this mistake, as you know, because I was
I think we all did at the very beginning.
I was really aligned with a coating company, and I used that brand to really push the quality of that brand. And it was wrong because and the dark side of especially the coatings, and you could say it with anything. The coating thing specific is these are companies at the end of the day, and they need to sell bottles, right? They need to sell bottles to end users, and I get that. I get that. But to align yourself as a business owner with one specific brand, in my opinion, this could be very controversial. I don't care. Is suicide eventually because you undermine your workmanship and quite literally you've had it, I've had it. When you have a problem with that coating, 9 times out of 10, that company is not going to do any heavy lifting on their part, you know?
And they'll fight you. I mean, there's these companies, if you're an installer or an authorized installer, they expect you to have insurance so that if there is some type of claim with the coating, it's not beating, it's not whatever it is. They expect you to go through the insurance. But you and I both know I'll never do that. It's not worth ever do that. No.
No, the company takes the hit. The detailer takes the hit on that bottle, which is fine. And they're all pretty much the exact same. Okay. So I think that if you're branding yourself based on a brand, you're already doing it wrong. And I made that mistake very heavily. I did. And I went through quite a few different coating companies in that interim to find the one that fits nicely. And like you said, it's ease of install, it's how it looks, how it performs, how it does everything. And it's up to the person to do the due diligence and say, listen, this is what I, in my opinion, think is the best package that you can buy. And this is what I'm putting on your car. And I think it's so important to know that there's so many different things. Everybody's got the newest, best, great technology out there. And there is some that push, the boundaries of this industry, especially in the coding realm. A new one had just come out, it won top innovation at SEMA this past year.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Like things happen, but every single coding company will always have the new latest and greatest thing, right? And that's just not the case because like the PPF thing, like the factory thing, there'd be a lot of factories making specific coatings, you know what I mean? So you have to find, you can buy ceramic coatings at Walmart, Canadian Tire, off Amazon. You can buy consumer grade coatings, and then at the same token, you can, buy professional grade coatings that have to be certified installers for, which is a whole nother, thing in itself. But yeah, it's so hard to navigate both as a business owner and as a client. Like, what's the best thing I can put on my car? So
It's you never want to deter people from doing it on their own too, because you learn and you and I are both car guys. We love working on our cars, cleaning them, whatever it may be. Before the whole detailing thing, if like ceramic coating wasn't really out, like it was out for maybe a year or two when I got into detailing. So that was like early 2000s. If a coating was available that I can apply myself at that time, I would have rather applied it myself because that's just the way I am. Um, but there's so much in prep and anybody who's applied a coating and realized it after the fact that there's so much prep that needs to be done. It's not just a smear it on and level it and you're done. It's the proper decontamination, chemical, mechanical decontamination. It's the polishing. It's getting everything, right and tight before actually applying the coating. When you apply the coating, you got to make sure you're applying it directly to the clear coat. So it's there's a lot of prep.
so what do you say to those guys? Because I've had clients, not my clients, but I've had people that I've talked to in passing, and the first thing they say to me is they say, Quinn, like, do you actually think that shit works? Does it actually do anything, or because I had it. So, what do you think is your biggest setback with dealing with those people? Why do they say that? Why do you think people say, "Hey, I just spent whatever $1,500 on this, and is it just like a glorified wax?" What's your answer to that guy, Tommy? Do you actually think this stuff works, or is it snake
Of
oil?
course, of course. I think where everybody gets wrong is detailers will sell it very differently. Some detailers will oversell the crap out of it, saying, I'm going to apply this to your vehicle. You will never have to wash your car again. You'll never have to wax it. You'll never have to touch it again. like the people throwing the water bottles at the car bouncing off.
Yep.
Everything will bounce off for the rest of its life.
Lighting it on fire. The
They're taking keys and that's so past the point of like ridiculousness. I was gonna say something else, but anyways, it's past the point of.
Hey, we didn't even bring up the one with the whole crowbar thing.
I didn't see that one.
Well, we don't want to say that name. We don't want to get.
Anyways, yeah,
We don't want to get a letter.
so everybody. Oh yeah, okay, I know what you're talking about. Hey, so some detailers just oversell the crap out of everything. The problem is that the client's going to get the coating on their car, and after a year, it's maybe not beating up so nice because, if it's a multi-layering system, the top layer wears away eventually. It's normal. That's what happens. That's why we say, come on back in for an inspection wash. We reapply that top coat. We rejuvenate it. Maybe it's just clogged. We just give it a really good decontamination wash, and everything comes back. That's the issue we're having now. That's the issue because I think people are getting so confused. They're like, well, it's supposed to be doing everything, and after a year, it's doing nothing. It seems like.
Yeah.
So you got to be able to sell it, or I shouldn't say sell it, but you got to be able to explain this to somebody who, I bought a brand new car, I need to protect it somehow. PPF, great. That's the best way.
100%.
Why would I get a ceramic coating? It's going to make your maintenance so much easier. Like you're washing your car, it takes no time. You use a blow dryer after to blow it all off, and you're minimizing. That's probably where you'll generally get most of your scratches is from drying. Some people use bath towels to dry their cars, which makes you shudder. Like, all those little well, it's microfiber, yeah, but all those little fibers dragging across, they're not that.
And you and I both know they're not washing their microfibers correctly anyways, right? Throw it in the dryer, high heat. For anybody who wants to know, the more heat you can throw to a cheap microfiber, the better. I'm totally joking.
And
What?
I said lots of fabric softening.
Yes, lots of the softer it feels on your hand, the softer it is for your paint.
Oh,
no, facetious. If you put high heat, it'll melt the polyester and it turns them into little daggers. But anyways, yeah, I think, and I say this to everybody too, even people who ask me, even you guys that come in the game and they ask me questions, you set the expectation, and it's a lack of education on the client's part that they would come to that conclusion and say that statement, right? To put a coating on your car is not going to bulletproof anything. Is it a glorified wax? In a sense, it is. But like anything, paint is porous. The coating, 100%. You want it to be, that's all surface tension, baby. So if you want it to be, there can't be any dirt on it, right? So in the wintertime, like you said, the top half of that door is beating like crazy. The windows, the A-pillars, the bottom half where all that beet juice, road grime, salt is just whacking away at the coating at the bottom of it. It's not beating. And why? Is because that coating, like you said, is clogged. The surface tension of that coating is being affected. Does not mean the coating is not there. It just means the coating has now taken that instead of your clear coat. And the best way to get rid of that is physical agitation, along with the help of chemical in a responsible way. That's where bringing it to your detailer matters. But if you want to nerd out as somebody who has it, you can. Totally fine. Is going to help you bring that, it's going to make that all jive. But surface tension is the first thing to go on any coating. It just by nature of having it, just by nature of friction traveling through the air at high speed, it's the first thing that's going to go. So just because your coating's not beating doesn't necessarily mean the coating's not there. Just needs, you need to fill those micro pores that have developed within the coating affecting that surface tension. You need to fill those in. You need to condition that, which is where you go back, you get an inspection, you get a wash, you wipe it down with a nice booster or something like that, which any respectable professional grade detailer will have from their respective coating companies that are going to help aid that, right? So, yeah, it honestly, it just comes down to expectation of the client. And there's a lot of people out there that get really, really desperate in this industry, and they sell it as the end all be all. You want something that's going to beat every time? Get PPF. And even then you're going to have trouble, but okay, I'll last you a little bit longer, right?
Yeah, for sure. So, bottom line is you got to listen to somebody who's going to speak the truth. How do you find that? Well, that's every detailer. I mean, most detailers should be speaking the truth. So
Well, hence the point of this whole podcast, right?
yeah, we're
Like,
trying to kind of bring to light some of this stuff. Now, obviously, we're not gonna name drop anybody, or I don't think we're gonna do brands or anything like that. Maybe we'll in the future we can have some brands on or something like that. Just have a chat, but the intent is to have a very general discussion. You know, again, we're continuing on from last week's episode is kind of what to look for. You see these guys that are overselling things and claiming this is God's gift to vehicle owners. Probably want to stay away from that. Um, Truth, like if anybody ever asks, like I've had people ask me at shows and stuff like that. Does this stuff actually work? Yes, it does work. 100%. Is it meant to last forever? Absolutely not. It's not. It's not a one and done deal. You still have to do the maintenance on it. You still have to wash it. Washing's gonna be a ton easier. Your gloss is gonna be 10 times better, 10 times deeper. Like the color is gonna change, especially if you have a nice darker color like blacks, reds, blues. They're gonna pop, and it's gonna have protection against things like acid rain. There's, obviously it's a thing. Bird drop etchings, bug etchings, But is it going to completely eliminate the potential for let's say a bug etching or a bird etching? No. If you have a black car and you leave it out, this is summer here, and you leave it out there for like a week, and you have a coated car, and that bird droppings is still on that hood after a week, chances are it's etched into that coating. It's essentially into the 100%. So what do you do? Well, now you're looking back to the detailer. It is the detailer's duty. It should be the detailer's duty to correct that for you. There should be some type of guarantee or warranty or whatever when you purchase these coatings. It's up to them to be able to, polish it out, make sure they got everything out, because we know how bird etching or bug etchings, they tend to come back and
die back.
the dye bags, yeah. So do it properly and then recoat the panel, recoat the section, whatever needs to be done. Because again, this is not it's not a $200 thing. Maybe for some detailers it is, but those are the ones that we try to kind of steer you clear from.
Yeah.
If you're paying a professional detailer, $1,500+ for, your coating and the package, they should be standing behind it.
But hold on. What if I do $200 every year on a coating? I'm doing the $199 special once a year. Rebuke that.
Well, you know what? What's going to happen then is I don't think that's going to last a year. I mean, number one, material costs are, I mean, for us, it's about $400-500 per car minimum.
Yeah, I would say.
So they're spending, if you're paying $200 for a complete package, I mean, I don't even know what they would be applying. Something in a spray bottle. Do you know what I mean? Something diluted, something, from concentrate, where I don't know. But the dilemma with this is obviously for $200, they're kicking themselves, like they're putting themselves in the ground, because number one, they're not prepping it correctly.
I was just gonna say, like, my first question would be, what are they doing? Are they polishing that so-called pre-existing coating off? If so, how thick, how many microns of coating are we talking about? Are they removing a little bit of clear coat every time? So if you're going to remove a little bit of clear coat every time for what's the average ownership of a vehicle, 5 years? So you're going to, remove a little bit each time. Depending on the thickness of that coating, longevity of that coating, marrings, etchings, stuff like that, those areas are going to get hit with a lot more polish and compound and heat more than anything else. So now you have a consistency problem of clear coat across your vehicle. It's dipping, the thicknesses are changing. You're kind of ebbing and flowing at the detailer's whim. And to be honest with you, for $200, they're going to slam a rotary to that thing. Maybe. And
I don't know if anybody knows how to use a rotary.
not so much nowadays, but they'd have to do it fast to make money. It's a turnover business play.
Yeah.
So they're going to be doing it quick. If they're using the DA, they're running that thing at 6. They're hitting it with the 400 heavy cut. They're just going to try to take that thing off and put a new one on. So really, in the long run, every year, sure, fine, but to have it every year to save, what's it called? Cheap, expensive. So it's cheap up front, And then in the end, when you have clear coat failure, which on new cars is a colossal problem, we can do an episode just on that. Just on paint failure in today's market is just obscene. But that's what's going to be around the corner in the next couple of years. So cheap, expensive, sure. I mean, I guess if you're firing the vehicle off in 3 years and getting a new one, but then again, if you can afford to do that, why aren't you just affording just to get it done right once, the first time, right? So
And these guys that are charging the $200 coatings, I think their business model, if they have one, is very different to what you and I do, and what a lot of the the boutique kind of studios are. They rely on getting 10 cars in a day, or multiple cars in a day, right? So it's one of those things where to get coated, like, it's just not feasible to get 10 cars coated in a day. But I mean, if you sell it for $200 and you're slapping it on like nothing, and who knows what you're doing to prep it.
yeah, it's like anything, it's like anything. It's you go to a cheap oil change, it's recycled oil. They have to make money, and no one does anything for free. So they're making money one way or the other. They're making money either saving it on the product, saving it on the process, or both.
Yep.
Either way, something's got to lose. So you go to a respectable place that values their work and pays their work appropriately. It's like hiring a roofer. You can get a roofing job done for 25,000. You can get a roofing done job for 5,000. The 5,000 is still making the same margins as the 25,000. But why? It's like that the exact same way with the coding thing. And especially in this industry, you have so many guys in it, and they come in here and they think, what I'm going to do is undercut. I'm going to cut everyone's throat, and then I'm going to up my pricings. And it's okay. Like, it's a business model. It's worked a lot. But your core people that you want, those aren't the people you're going to attract. Yeah. Right. And the moment you up your pricing, you're basically restarting your business model from day one again.
Yep.
Right.
And you're in that next group of clientele. Like, you're in that different level now. Like, there's detailers who advertise on Marketplace and whatever, and that's great. You know what? To get started, I wholeheartedly agree with that. You're gonna get some people that are just gonna barter with you. You're offering the $100 detail on there, and they will, I'll give you $20 or something like that. That's what Marketplace is for, is bartering. And that's not, it's not the way to operate a business.
It's hard because even in the wintertime, like when you get lean, you want to lower that bar now to try to stay competitive with these guys, but you can't. As a business owner, you can't.
And you're doing a disservice to yourself and your own business.
You really are.
And the second you
really are.
cutting your price.
And there's a detailer out there, because I was that guy, 2-3 years ago. There's a detailer out there that needs to hear this. If you're thinking of lowering your pricings, don't. Stay true to yourself. We've had this conversation. Me and you have had this conversation just with
every time we meet,
just in our local market together. It's like you just can't. And it's so hard because all of a sudden all this industry is shifting to the one who's doing it for, half the price of everybody else. And you feel like you're losing it. And the best thing you can do as a business owner is stay true to yourself. You mute all the noise, and you stick to your plan.
Yep.
And I'm telling you that it will pay off. Whoever needs to hear, because I know there's someone out there right now that just went through their first winter and is dying and is wondering, how can I get more businesses here? Stay true to your pricing and stay true to your work. Do not fold. I mean, your thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, you and I, we've both been through it. We've got different scenarios. We're in different situations, but wintertime, you're instantly like, what can I do? What can I cut? Okay, I'm slashing this price in half because I just want to get somebody in the door. But again, like I said, you're doing a disservice to your business, and you're kind of bringing your whole, not quality, but you're bringing your whole level down a little bit, right?
You're devaluing your brand.
Yes, yeah. That's a good way of putting it.
You're
So,
going for that kind of thing, which is your main goal.
and I find a lot too that when we did offer that cheap stuff, like when we first started, everything was done on the cheap, right? It was just the way we operated. I didn't know my numbers, That's something very important for if you're a detailer or a business owner or both, to know your numbers, understand your profits, understand your expendables, your consumables and stuff like that. What are you spending per job and whatever. But again, we can divert that way a different time. When you just start willy-nilly trying to get jobs in and charging people low dollar, you're gonna get the wrong clients. You're gonna get the wrong clients, and it's not gonna be good, because the guys that just by experience, the guys that they don't want to pay the $1,500, they want to pay the $200. You will see them again and again and again asking for something, asking either for a deal, asking for well, this doesn't work, whatever, because it's cheap.
Yeah.
It's $200. It's $200. It's horrible. Nothing's $200 anymore.
Now, what would you say then if I put this question to you? This episode we're just kind of freestyling with it.
Yeah,
We're talking about coatings. We're talking about the shittiness of certain branding, being a marketing company versus a chemical company, things that work. What would you say to somebody who has a budget of $200 and they want to put something on their car? Now, I'm not talking about the clients that come in and you put the coating on your car and they're like, ever since you put the coating on my car, my brake light stopped working. I'm not talking about those guys. I'm talking about people who want to protect their paint. But that's their budget. They just bought a brand new, Lord knows what, a Hyundai, and it's like, no hate on Hyundai. Some of those Hyundais are really nice, especially the Genesis.
Yeah.
Which totally ripping on like 5 car brands morphed into one, but they're really nice and the warranties are absolutely insane. But what do you say to those people? Like where would you lead that person? How can you put that person down nicely? Because obviously you can't do work for this person. You can't.
Yeah.
So how do you, Tommy, I'm in your shop or studio in Fenway. I have $200. What do you say to me?
Well, at that point, I would just basically offer them our base, which would be just a polymer. You put something on it, right, for $100. It's just a polymer coating, but is it going to last as long as a ceramic coating? Absolutely not. But it's still going to be some type of protection. It'll hold you over until maybe it is in your budget, but you should have something regardless. Or you know what? At that point, if for $200, go to Canadian Tire, grab a bottle of something, just to help
That
make the cleaning.
That's probably
That's probably going to be the best case scenario for that person. It's just unfortunately it's nothing that we offer, but
that is exactly where I would go with it. I would look at the person and say, listen, obviously you have a knack for cars. You want to take care of this. Go there, get yourself a DIY ceramic coating kit. It's going to cost you $90 or something like that. Spend a Sunday, fall in love with your car, have that moment. And
at least then, I mean, if even if you buy a DIY coating, you'll apply it. Maybe it'll last a year, maybe it'll last whatever, 6 months. But at least that then can put them in a position where, maybe they can budget it for the following year to get a proper everything, decon, correction, and coating put on.
I wouldn't even advise paint correcting on $200. And you said it, like going back to the brand thing, a $200 coating, and you said, well, you might as well throw a polymer on it, which is, like a super wax, something that's really bonding to the paint a little bit better than a wax would. So that's
a little bit longer.
Yeah, that's where you're going with it, with a $200 coating. That's literally, guys, I hate to say it, that's the behind the scenes industry thing, is a $200 coating is not even as good as a polymer, right? And a polymer is probably going to give you a little bit better look to it too. Personally, I'm a big fan of that synthetic kind of warmth.
Yeah. So if you guy anybody listening has waxed their car, on their own versus coated a car, like looked at a waxed car versus looked at a coated car. The waxed cars, polymer wax, Carnauba, much warmer, like shine versus a ceramic coating. Ceramic coating is very
Bright.
bright, pungent. Your gloss is so. Look at me. Exactly. Yeah. So whereas a wax, I feel it's definitely a warmer touch to it. Um, People love it. Nothing wrong with waxes. It's still a protectant at the end of the day. It just doesn't last as long. A Carnauba wax gonna last you maybe 2 months, if that.
Yeah.
If you keep it outside, it's probably gonna last you maybe a month.
Yeah.
Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
So what do you say then? You know, I've had this too. I'll put out a hypothesis. I'll put out a theory here, and tell me what you think about it. We do quite a bit of classic cars here in my shop, and in my past, what I found, especially with the age demographic, right? You look at these older gentlemen with their 50s Bel Airs. I'm talking old, beautiful Galaxies, Thunderbirds, stuff like that. I find that they don't want to do the coding, not because they don't believe in the technology, not because they don't like the look of it, not because they don't like the feel of it. It's simply because it takes away from their Sunday routine of waking up
Yeah.
and just touching this car and getting intimate with it. I found that a lot of guys fiend off of that, right? And if that's your thing, ceramic coating, unfortunately, it's not your friend.
Yeah. It's not meant for people like that. I mean, if you like the quick wash, be able to drive your car more than you're washing it and detailing it, then yeah, coatings are the way to go. Or you have a car that sits outside all year long, coating's the way to go. When you do when you got those guys that really just they want to spend their weekends putting waxes on, man, kudos to that.
Yeah.
I can appreciate that.
They're the OGs.
Absolutely.
They are the detailing OGs,
Yeah.
But yeah, it's so funny to see like where coding falls in the market versus where that is. And it's been something I just haven't been able to punch through, You got a guy comes in, let me talk about this. And it's kind of like, listen, man, if you like to do what you do on a Sunday, this isn't it. If you want to spend 30 minutes on it and drive around like you spent 6 hours on it, then yeah, this is what you need, right? This is your coating. Um, but those cars, they have, such beautiful paint jobs, and they're full of love marks from them waxing it every year with the same applicator pad they waxed it with, like, for the last decade. But it gives it so much personality, and that's what's beautiful about it.
And it's the gratification that they did it. They put it on their car. It's beautiful. You cannot fault these people. Like these are the kind of people like they don't need detailers. They do their own cars. They know their cars inside out. They know their cars better than any detailer will. They know the marks and whatever. They want to be the ones that basically just touch that car. And you can't fault that at all.
You can't. You can't, and it's such an interesting thing that I found, myself just over years of business is like we've done some pretty large projects. We do a lot of boats. Me personally, I hate doing boats, but we're really good at boats. Like really, really good at boats. We can make gel coat look like a $10,000 um sorry, $10,000 just gives you a nice paint job. I should put, $50,000 paint job, Love boats, but they're terrible to do. And gel coat is a totally different beast than paint, especially when it comes to ceramic coatings. We can talk about that on an episode too, is just particularly boats, because I have gone through the gauntlet with boats. But um, we've done big projects, and ceramic coatings are really ideal for, motorhome guys that have large surface area. I don't know about you, but the majority of ceramic coating jobs we get in, they're trucks. Like they're
Like pickup truck.
pickup trucks, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like it's a lot of surface area. It's a big thing to try to clean every Sunday, right? So we do a lot of trucks. You get a lot of trucks. You get the nice cars too. But the nice cars aren't the guys that like the heavy lifting is on these trucks. Like these trucks are really going to test your coating out. But
Yeah.
you know, it's so interesting to see how older folks really enjoy that Sunday thing, that ritual, if you want to call it, right? And it's something kind of beautiful about that. It really is, because for us, like when we have, whatever it is, cars, bikes, whatever, it's a ritual for us too. But the main goal is for a detailer, in my opinion, I'm just speaking off the cuff here, is that you want to make them fall in love with that purchase every time they see it. And to go back to my own truck, like after this winter time, after that hand wash, you fell in love with it all over again. It's all of a sudden it's summertime. It's like, guess what? We're back. You know what I mean? Like we're back. The truck is back now, and it's such a signal of who you are as a person. Not a status thing, but it's just it's such a symbol. So for me, it was so important to have that, and that's really the core that I want to pass on to my clients. I'm sure you can agree too. Is just you make that fall in love with that, and the coating is supposed to aid that. A coating is not going to provide that. The coating is not the identity of the car. The identity is what you make the car, but the coating is going to help you achieve that. It's going to be that guiding light. And I think that's the biggest difference, with these guys. Does that shit actually work, or is it all? They want it to do so much heavy lifting, and the coating's just there to help you. It's the spotter on the bench press. It's helping you lift it, right? I think that's a great analogy. It's helping you lift that weight up to get to that point that you want to be. It's not going to provide it for you. It's not going to lift the weight for you, but it's going to help out, a hell of a lot. It's probably like a really jacked spotter, like a really beautifully jacked spotter is lifting the weight. He's basically doing 60% of the lifting, but you have to put in the time to achieve it.
Yeah.
And I think if you had a coating company that branded themselves on selling that, like maybe we should start a coating company.
And join the 2,000 others.
Yeah,
there.
the absolute dog shit cutthroat industry that is ceramic coatings. And I said it.
Oh yeah, I'm not.
I got
disagreeing.
I said it. So
Hey, like I said, the general public needs to know that don't deal with it on this side of this industry that much. They need to know, like, there's so many coating companies out there, and again, some of them are just rebranded, relabeled. All come from B&B blending, and they do have the chemicals. So
there you go.
do you know what I mean? So
and as a business owner, you get bombarded
yeah.
with stuff every day. People do not realize the back end of that. You are constantly led down paths, even by other detailers, right? Because a new thing now in the industry, here we go, unlocking Pandora's box, is now detailing shops shifted because now they know they want to make that passive income. So they want to sell what it is they're using. That's the new thing.
You talking coatings?
Anything. Yeah. Well, coatings too. Yeah.
You know what? The selling
To other professionals, I mean, not to end users.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, that's yeah. I get that too. You got the companies that they just want to make money. They just want to make more money, and they'll figure out a way to do it, whether it's selling like through another brand or whatever it is. So
yeah, and that's a new thing. I'm talking business model wise. I mean, it makes sense. Passive income, right? Like if I can make 60 points on everything I sell, then why not? But guess what? What I sell is the greatest thing ever, Tom. Like you'll never have to touch another coating again.
yeah.
Okay, this coating basically washes itself.
And then what's going to happen then when something doesn't go right for you? Jump to another coating and
Well, no,
hey, this is the best stuff.
Do what 90% of the coating companies do. Well, it just wasn't put on right.
Oh yeah.
Did you hand wash it every 3 minutes, Tommy? If you didn't hand wash every 3 minutes, I can't help you. You have to hand wash it, right?
Yeah.
It's such an easy out. And as a consumer, as a client, you got to look for somebody who's going to stand behind it and tell you the raw truth of it. They're going to tell you, hey, You need to do it every week. And if you do it every week and it still doesn't meet your expectations, okay, let's look back at our processes. Let's see what we did and let's see where we went wrong, if we went wrong. I've had bad batches of really good coding. It happened. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
So let's look back and do it. But it takes a professional to do that.
Like, one other thing. This will be kind of maybe the closer. We're at 54 minutes. It's pretty good. It's for detailers. It is, yeah. For detailers that have a menu, like a coding menu, in terms of, oh, we have a 6 month, we have a 1 year, we have a 2 year, we have a 3 year, we have a 4 year, we have, oh my God, all the way up to this lifetime. There's no such thing. When you hear lifetime coding, there's no such thing as a lifetime coding, people.
Nothing lasts forever. Yeah.
As hard as that may be, if you ever purchased a lifetime coding, I mean, they generally sell it. You have to read you have to read the fine print. Is a lifetime coding is generally considered, I think, 20 years. I think based somewhere something with the stipulations, you're not allowed to say lifetime and then actually expect it to last a lifetime. I think there has to be a limit. And like for certain coatings, there's 20-year limit, 25-year limit. So when they say lifetime, they really only mean 20 years or 10 years or 9 years, whatever it is, right?
There is like a legal,
Yeah.
standard, I think. Yeah.
So that's just kind of one thing. But yeah, the detailers that are offering like, the 20 different packages, yeah, that drives me a bit bonkers as well. Like, you install multiple different brands of coatings, and there's a different coating for a different timeline. Like the 6 month you're having this brand, for a 3 to 5 year you're having this brand, and anything more you're having this brand. Like,
Okay. Well, I know we're trying to close here, but let me throw this to you then. Coating brands that offer different coatings within the brand. So, for instance, you have a coating that's rim specific versus a coating that's glass specific versus a coating that's paint specific. What do you say? Like, that's in my mind. Speaking to chemists, yeah, I 100% agree with it too. 100%. There is no such thing that one shoe fits all. There is jack of all trades, master of none. But yeah, I'd be right there with you that I totally agree with that. That's not what we're saying in regards to the coding menu. No, on different brands, I guess.
longevity. Yeah, I get, different brands will have we're like, there's that 2 year, there's that 5 year, and then there's that 9 to 25-year lifetime.
Yeah.
Right.
So, what do you think then is the longest realistic like I know we're getting into touchy waters here because I think the brands we use, I think if I'm not mistaken, are pretty far off in year thing. And it's okay if we disagree, but what do you think is a tangible longevity of a coating? No BS, actual, legitimate. The coating is there. Whatever. 100 years from now, we tested it.
You're talking without like your annual or 6 month maintenance top ups or.
See, I don't know. See the top up.
Okay, so I did my own tests. I did get
we
tests.
go.
Yeah. So, and I'm a proponent to yeah, if you see any of my Instagram stories, I test the crap out of everything. Like, it takes me a while to sign on to a brand or to start using a brand because of situations like this. So the best I've ever had is this is no washing, not a single drop of water, rain. So I've had panels outside. I had three coating. Yeah, these are three coating companies, three different brands, and I applied the equivalent to each one, which would have been the 5 year equivalents. After 2 years, now I tested up to 2 years. Now this thing sat in the snow, the rain, the sun. It's on the south end of our shop, so it's constantly getting sun. And the coating company or the brand, that we generally use now, or that we currently use, was the one that outlasted everything. The one company, and like I said, we're not going to say brands, but the one brand, there was nothing left on it. The UV killed it. And that brand is supposed to be a pretty good brand. Very expensive brand to purchase on our end. So That's my so I'm gonna say at least 2 years for sure without a mitt going on it, without anything. It's still beating. It wasn't beating as good as obviously when you first install it by any means, but you could tell a distinct difference between the other two and that one.
Yeah. When I spoke to different chemists in the past, you know, like let's just touch on quick where the year thing comes from because well, R&D does not, no one R&Ds. Well, maybe they do, but really the R&D probably tops out at 2 years, like you said. But the chemists I've spoke to, so when they say like 5 years, right? They apply the coating to said panel and they wash it. And they just continuously wash it with different caustics, blah, blah, blah. Do the whole thing, hand wash it. Whatever number of washing they get from it, let's say they wash a panel, 3,000 times or whatever. Then they look back on it and they say, okay, the coating's completely worn off. Now, within that 3,000, the coating's gotten less and less effective or whatever it is. But at that 3,000 mark, hypothetically, it's no longer conducive to the panel anymore. It's gone. And then they go, the average person washes their car once a week, 52 times a year. 5 years, we should be good. That's kind of how they come up with that yearly thing. I don't know your thoughts. I mean, that's who I've spoken to. That's kind of what they came up with. And that's what I tell my clients. Like, hey, this is where the year thing comes from.
Yeah, I mean for years we sold it as a 5-year coating, and the brand still has it as a 5-year coating. I do it based on mileage now, and I think it was you that pointed that out to me in the past, like years versus mileage, right? Because I mean, a car that sits in a garage for every single week and it only gets taken out once a week, that coating's gonna last like a 5-year coating is gonna last like 10+ years
Yeah.
realistically, right?
Yeah.
So I try not to sell it as a longevity in terms of like 5 years, like a number to it, like a year number to it. I try to put it as realistically, a 5-year coating or level two, it's really up to about 80,000 kilometers or so, right? Realistically, if you do maintenance, your inspection every year, every 6 months, whatever you want to do, and I also hold them like I tell them it's optional.
Yeah.
It's optional. Like if you have an issue, and that might be a stupid thing to do, but I mean, if you have an issue, you come see us. We're not going to go through the rigmarole of going through insurance and putting a claim in. There's no sense in that. We installed it. It's our duty, as I mentioned, it's our duty to know the coding and what it's supposed to do and its limits and what it is. You're supposed to stand behind that brand. Um, we will fix it. We'll make it right. Even if it means polishing it off and reapplying it for whatever reason, because bird crap and vetch and whatever it is, that's kind of my take on that.
Yeah. I'm right there with you. And, to go back to the mileage thing, that brand was a European-based brand. And in Europe, they go a lot off the mileage thing. I think the year thing's a North American marketing play.
Okay.
I'll go by 5 years sounds better than 80,000 kilometers.
Yeah, for
You
sure.
know,
But
even though, like, what does the average person put on their car?
generally 20,000 a year, right? So
Kind of saying the same thing.
yeah,
But 5 years sounds better.
you add in a bit of margin, like
$9.99 is different than 1,000.
yeah,
That's what they're doing with it. So anybody looking for a coating in that sense, that is the play.
Yeah.
Right. That is why it's a 5 year. I don't use the mileage thing. I do use the year thing, but I use that. I tell them, well, this is what the chemists do, and this is what they come up with that. So do with that, but you will.
yeah. Well, it's your being transparent with them.
I think we're saying the same thing.
Yeah.
It's how you care for it and how you do it for it. But yeah, in this industry of coatings, there is so much stuff. There's so much snake oil out there. There's different brands. There's a new brand every week. Everybody's got the same stuff. What it comes down to is the person you're doing business with. Like you said earlier, it's their job to give you the best thing that they think they found.
Yeah.
That's really it.
And not only that, but stand behind it once it has been applied.
Yes.
Not fuck off after a year and never to be seen again, or you know what, switch companies.
The company switchers.
Don't offer that anymore. Well, how come? Because you said it was the best thing in the world a year ago. Yeah, well, we're on this brand now. Oh,
And it's hard. Like, I know with my shop, we're a little more higher volume. And when we had switched, going back to that branding thing, when we put a brand before our brand and, that brand did what brands do. They gotta sell bottles. So they give it to every Tom, Dick, and Harry out there, even though you've been with even you invested time into this brand. Leaves a sour taste in your mouth, but business is business, right? So you move on from it. During that interim period, us testing different brands was really tough as a business. It was really tough. And it does incur a cost to you because you have to make it right when these people come to you and say, listen, we tried this, it didn't go as planned. Let me make this right for you. So people who are switching, keep that in mind. Like, it will incur a cost to you. That is a debt you owe to that client by switching and switching and switching and switching. And it will come back.
yep.
Right?
Yep. Very good, my man.
That's it, man. That's the end of the coding episode.
I bet you we could probably still yap on about this.
I got it.
There's so many
I got another 2 hours easy of talking about it, but
yeah. We don't want to bore the people tonight. So.
I think we'll keep coming back to it over time. But I think it's just important for everybody to know that does it work? We wouldn't put it on if we didn't think it did. And it needs to be cared for. It needs to be looked after. It needs to be everything. And maybe one day we can go into specifics: a boat versus a car versus a trailer versus black streaks on a trailer. Will it stop black streaks? That's a tough one to stop black streaks on a boat. We can get into all that kind of stuff of what expectation you can get out of the coding. I think that should probably just be an episode of itself. But this is kind of, the background of the coding industry and what happens behind the scenes and a marketing company versus a legitimate, coding company. So yeah.
Excellent, man.
Well,
I think that'll do it then.
I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you coming out here, and I appreciate you.
Grace arrives. It's about 45 minutes, so it's a peaceful drive for sure.
It is.
Allows you to kind of think and kind of get you in the headspace of what are you going to talk about?
I like it. I like being out here in Niagara on the Lake.
Yeah, we've both had similar situations where we're both we're in the country, around farms, so we're kind of nestled into these little areas here, those little high belt. I mean, I love the farmland kind of.
I like the vibe too. It does suck, like we have.
Start doing pollen, and then when they start spraggles,
we got a bad fruit fly problem. When they pick the grapes around here, and the fruit flies have nothing to feed on anymore, it is like biblical level plague of the locusts. Yeah, it's like crazy, and obviously that happens at September, November, October for those who care enough to know. But that's when they pick the grapes here. No, I love wine country. I love the feel of this area. I love the fact that we're the only ones in this area that can do this. And when you're in Niagara, you kind of know, like when you do your loser cruise, you're always going down Lake Shore, you're going down the Parkway, we're smack dab right there. So it's nice. And you get to meet some really unique people. And I get to see your beautiful face come down every other Sunday or Saturday or whenever we do this. And we just get to talk. And, to recap, we're two guys in the industry. We're in a competitive industry. We're in a competitive area. We are competitors to each other. And, we find commonality in doing what we love and educating people while doing it. And
this is what it should be like. This is what it needs. Like,
I think we should invite, I don't know, but
you want to invite other detailers in?
I think we should.
You know what? What's going to happen is you may say no. Or they'll say yes.
They may say no, and I'll aboard the petty train. No, I'm over it. But if you're a detailer that wants to make a trek, even if you're not local, like let's get some big city guys in here. Let's hear from their point. How about any business? We're gonna do a whole series. I think we should do a series just on business itself, and we could do
a panel.
Oh man, a panel would be, you'd be clicking that button like you
We're
wouldn't be able
gonna
to.
bring somebody into because I'm not.
But if you're a local detailer here in Niagara and you want to jump on here and kind of tell your version of things and kind of let us bounce stuff off you, like I said, you could, say your company, say where you're from 100%, but we're not here to sell ourselves. We're here to sell the industry.
Yeah.
That's all we ask.
And bring the industry up to where it should be.
Yeah.
We're not just car cleaners, man. It's a big job. It's pretty rough sometimes, but
Yeah, and if it's something you're interested in and you want to come and enjoy a nice drink and enjoy a nice cigar and just sit down and talk and leave the egos at the doors, shoot us a DM, shoot us an email, reach out. Those I think those guys know who we're talking about.
Yeah.
Reach out to us and let's get you in here. But
beautiful.
in the meantime, Tommy, I appreciate you coming out here, man.
Thanks,
I
man.
appreciate.
Hopefully everybody likes the if you're watching and likes the new Lightbox edition we did this week.
Yeah, this is nice.
It's all right, eh?
Like-
It's not bad. Looks pretty.
We'll look back on it, but I think it's way better than the first one.
All right, guys. I'll see you on the next
Ciao,
one.
guys.